Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a preview of Gone to Gaia, an upcoming adventure campaign game for 1 to 2 players. And as always, no disclaimers for our coverage. We don't accept money or payment from publishers. We just want to help you make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our weekly podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So Gone to Gaia alternates between these wave-based combats that are very, very different from regular boss battling and adventure campaign games. You'll see what I mean, but it's kind of like a puzzle pattern play, and a book-based adventure where you are meeting people and stuff, but a lot of the actual combat is roguelite in nature. If you don't know what I mean by that, if you aren't familiar with the term, this is mainly a video game term. It means that your characters will level up during play, during the battles they're fighting, but their levels will reset back down to 0 after each campaign adventure. But at the same time, you can use the stuff you earn in battles to gain permanent upgrades and bonuses from allies and things. So you are both leveling up during a single battle in major ways, and then leveling up in smaller, more incremental ways as you play through each scenario. And as usual for my previews, this is a prototype of the game. It looks like a lot of it is hand-printed and put together, so everything could change. Things are still being rebalanced. The rulebook was pretty clear, and I talked to the makers of the game quite a bit, so I think I have a lot of the rules correct, but even yesterday I was still asking questions. So take everything you see with a grain of salt. Also, they did send really nice prints of enemy miniatures, which are intended to sit on the enemy cards and make them look extra cool. But number one, that would make it harder to film. Number two, I think it would block some of the information I'm trying to show in the video, like their attack values and such. So I'm not going to use those, but I am going to use the very cool miniatures for your delvers. This is, again, a 1 to 2 player game. There is a true solo mode, but they're still balancing it. So I'm going to multi-hand both characters. You'll see it's incredibly easy to do that. So even in the final version of the game, I expect it to be very easy to control both. I mean, in true solo, at least the way it currently works, you also control both, but you have like 1 life total and 1 hand of cards. So either way, I think it'll work out fine. But yeah, I'm going to be using these. And let's just jump into the story, because the tutorial battle seems pretty straightforward, and I'll talk you through the mechanisms and how everything works as we go. And if you don't want to participate in fun adventures with Mike reading and doing voices, feel free to use the timestamps and skip ahead right to the battle. Near the edge of a cliff you gather, watching the sun rise above an endless purple fog as it wakes against the mountain. Master Bram stands in front of a podium, surveying the crowd that is gathered in silence. His gaze is steady. When he clears his throat, you all fall quiet.
Long ago, mankind ruled the earth. We built cities that scraped the sky, forged machines that silence nature, and used weapons that dominate everything, even each other. It is no wonder that the earth rebelled and released the tide upon us. Its mist spread, poisonous, alive, and transforming, twisting the land, changing its creatures, and shifting the balance back to its favor. We were cast down by the world we thought we controlled. 1,000 years have passed, and she has yet to forgive us. The tide continues to rise bit by bit, and to this day we do not know how to stop it. On this lonely mountain, we are the last known humans to cling to life. Why do we choose to carry on in the face of this impending doom? Because all lives are precious and deserve salvation. While we may not all be able to claim it, today we give this chance to you. By graduating from the Delving Academy, you accept this sacred calling to venture forth into the tide, protect the citizens of Bird's Nest, and to reach Gaia, our last bastion of hope. To aid you in your duties, we grant you the use of our most precious objects, Delver suits. Master Bram draws your attention to the Delver suit behind him, a reinforced armored suit and helmet that glows with a strange, colorful aura. No more training suits for you cadets. It's time for the real thing. But first, let me go over your final exam. Bram turns your attention to an area beyond the cliffside. You see that boy bobbing above the purple haze? Your mission is to retrieve your Delver tags hanging from it. Simple, right? But don't get careless. The latest reports have informed us of Christinids infesting that area. The crowd turns uneasy. Sensing the nervous energy, Master Bram breaks out into a warm smile. You're ready for this? Just think of this as one more test. Be careful, keep your cool, and you should be able to make short work of them.
You put on the assigned Delver suits and notice that they're lighter than you expected. The power emanating from them is infectious, coursing through every part of you. You all prepare to make your descent as Bram addresses you one last time.
You know what we lost, and what little remains. The tide doesn't sleep, it doesn't bargain, and it doesn't care who you were before you put on that suit. But we care. The people still up here clinging to this mountainside, there while you step into the mist, not for glory, not for vengeance, but for the ones too old, too young, or too broken to go themselves. This is not just your last exam, it's your beginning. From this day forward, you carry more than a weapon. You carry our last hope. So stay sharp. Trust your training. Trust each other. May Gaia guide you. Delvers.
As you descend into the tide, visibility is immediately obscured by the purple haze. The rocky environment slows your travel, but you're more concerned by the chrysanids that infest the area. Though the boy is not far from the shore, you must eliminate the creatures before you can reach it. All right, here we go. We're going to go into our first quest, which is composed of a single wave. Usually for full quests, you will do multiple waves and you'll be leveling up the whole time. You'll have new monsters and new bosses. In this one, we're going to have a bunch of chrysanids, one soul hunter boss. We're going to spawn them randomly on the board. And usually there's some fail forward options, like if you beat some waves but fail on others, you keep going. But in this one, we have to both survive or we do not go forward. This is our tutorial. We got to keep on trying. So let's get into some combat setup. We've got this 5x5 grid board. This is, I believe, going to be the same for every combat. And then we've got a spawn deck. We're only going to use the cards that don't have, let me find one, any of these special icons. Those don't happen in Quest 1. So here, let's use this random one I have on top. The white X's are going to be the regular enemies, chrysanids. The red X is going to be our soul hunter boss. And these two kind of glowy, teleporty spaces are where we can put our delvers. We'll decide which one wants to go where once we see all the enemies set up and once we see what weapons we have available. And these enemy cards do have differences, so they all have the same values for how much life they have. We got to do 2 damage to defeat them. This 1 damage sword is how much damage they do when you hit them as kind of a counterattack. So that's consistent, but the directions they counterattack and which arrows are black and white and how far they go, the number of arrows is the range, that changes for them. What happens if you leave them alive? Basically, when you run out of attacks to do, you're going to have to face all the follow-up attacks from the ones you didn't kill, what bonuses they're going to give you. All this is going to be part of the randomized puzzle as I set up the enemies for the quest. Whereas the boss, the Soul Hunter, is super consistent. He's going to always be nasty. He's got 12 life, a 2 counterattack, 2 damage to each of us if he's alive at the end. So yeah, lots of fun stuff going on. Yeah, one of us is going to go here, and one of us is going to go here, but let's get to our Delver setup so you can kind of understand the choice I'm going to make. All right, so we've got a bunch of stuff here. This is just like a pretty little board for the 2 Delvers. So these are the basic suits that we start with, the Disciple of the Mind basic suit, and the Disciple of the Body, blue and orange. And you can, at least based on the rules, upgrade your Delver suits so that your max levels of different weapons get higher and other stats increase. We don't have to worry about that at all, though, because we're not going to get that far in our quest we're playing. And then you also get to bring your pilots in the Delver suits, your heroes. And at the beginning of the game, we only start with number 1 and number 2. And you can see they are blue or orange to match the Delver suits. And what these heroes bring is what your starting weapons will be. So this guy, and you can name them, by the way, if you're playing in the campaign. You can write the name right there. He's going to have a level 1 beam, a level 1 hammer, a level 1 shield. And she's going to have a level 1 gauntlet, a level 1 sword, and a level 1 armor. And as you play the game, you'll unlock more and more heroes. You'll have a bigger roster, and you pick which one you want to bring each time. They just put on the same Delver suit, so it's kind of like your team. But they can also die and be defeated in battle, and then suddenly you won't have that option anymore. Although, again, no, that's going to happen in this little tutorial. Now let me talk through what's going on with our Delver suit boards. So we start with 3 AP, 3 action points. These can be used for certain AP abilities, mainly to get weapon cards back or double our movement. We don't have enough to pay for the 5 AP option. They just go to the spent place. Later on in the game, you can also get reroll tokens and other things that can go here. And again, they can be used once per battle to go to the spent area. You also got your damage tracker. Your weapons will deal light, medium, or heavy damage. At the beginning of the game, light deals 1, medium deals 2, and heavy deals 4 damage, but that could be increased by upgrades in that whole roguelite in between mission mode I talked about. You can also increase your movement with the boots item and other effects. You start out with just 1 movement per turn. Your max hit points is capped at 6. That's where we're starting. Remember, we have to both survive, and a lot of the enemies are going to deal like little retaliatory damage when we attack them, and they're going to deal damage at the end of the combat if we haven't killed them. So lots of fun stuff to deal with there. And then the most important thing are these little slots down here, because it is going to be how you use the weapon cards. Remember, I'm starting with beam, hammer, and shield level 1. So look at these nice little holders. You'll see that they have all the weapon types. And these are actually identical for both Delver suits, but the cards are not identical. They have very similar effects, but slightly different. So the way the beam works for the blue Mind Delver is a little different from how it works for the body Orange Delver. And each of these has 5 levels of cards, getting better and better, because again, if you're playing in a fuller quest where it's not just one wave, you're going to get to level up a bunch, and you could get stronger and stronger weapons. But for now, I'm just going to grab the 3 that the Delver or the Disciple of the Mind has, Beam, Hammer, and Shield. I'll show you those. So some of them, like the Shield, are passive. It just gives you a special ability you can use, in this case for defense. But other ones are weapons. These are what really controls your turn and your success in the entire delve, because on each character's turn, and you alternate turns, although you get to pick who goes first, you have to pick one of your weapons to exhaust, putting it on one of the open slots. So I could put the hammer there and the beam there, but you only use one a turn. And when you do that, you get to either activate the effect of the slot you covered, or you get to activate the weapon itself. Or you could also do nothing, which seems like a bad option. Additionally, before or after you do your weapon activation or whatever other effect, you can move up to your movement value. So you can move and then attack, or attack and then move. But once you have no weapons left to activate, there you go. You can't take any more turns. And if a lot of the enemies are left alive, they'll do their automatic damage for them not having been cleared from the board. So what you're trying to do is get your weapons back. How can you do that? A few ways. First of all, for 2 of your 3 starting AP, you can refresh a weapon card. Just get it right back to your hand to use again on a future turn. Also, as the enemies are defeated, many of them are going to give you what are called elements, which are these little fire or whatever things, and they go on their matching spots. And if you have a card in the slot matching a double element where you have both of the tokens, you can spend them both to also get it back. But then some enemies will also give you experience. And by the way, getting the elements, getting experience, all this is a shared resource, and both of the Delvers get to do cool stuff whenever these happen. So when you get 1 experience, you can both level up to level 1, and they both level up. When they get to 3 experience, they both level up to level 2. So everything is shared. It's not like the Delvers are fighting over resources or deciding who gets items. They all get stuff when they level. But when you level up, each of the Delvers draws one of these cards, and it lets them get better equipment. So if it's a weapon type, they pick one of these, by the way. If it's something they already have, like if the Disciple of the Mind who already has a beam picked the beam, they would level their beam up to level 2, and they would get to unexhausted if it had been used already, which, hopefully it would have been, because that would be even better for them. Or they can pick something they don't have the card for yet, and they would get that at level 1. So you're moving around, your movement can't end on enemies, and you can't walk through enemies, but you can walk through each other, and you have to land on an empty space. Movement can be orthogonal or diagonal, and your weapons will tell you exactly where they can attack. And a big thing is whenever you attack an enemy, you roll a die to see how they counterattack, and that's whether you killed them or not. So even if I do 2 damage to this guy, he still might hurt me back. And how it works is if you get a 1, they don't counterattack at all. If you get a 2 through 5, they counterattack with the white arrows, and they attack with every direction. So they just kind of spit all over the place. So this guy would attack 1 to the right, 1 to the top, 2 to the left, 2 to the bottom left. They're not going to affect other enemies, but if the other Delver was in range, they could be hurt as well as you. And then finally, if they roll a 6, they attack with the black arrows. So the black arrows are usually where you're going to prefer to attack because there's less chance that you'll get hit afterwards. But nothing's sure, nothing's perfect. You might get hit by a bad roll. And 1 die roll applies to every enemy hit by an attack. So if you do some giant chain thing that hits everybody on the board near you, you roll 1 die and you check the arrows of the matching color for all of them. All right, let's finish up. Let's look at what the Disciple of the Mind's starting items are, and then I'll decide which of them should go where, and we'll jump into this thing. So they've got a rank 1 chain gauntlet. They deal light, that's 1 point of damage to an adjacent chain of connected enemies if you're adjacent to at least one of them, which I think means I could hit all of these dudes for 1 damage, which is pretty friggin' good. Although it could also trigger enough counterattacks to murder me out of existence. I'll have to decide if I want to do that. Then I've got a rank 1 sword, a soul shift saber, does medium, 2 damage to an adjacent enemy. And then if they die, I roll a die, and on a 4 to 6, I can attack again. In fact, I have to. And then finally, my passive is exoframe armor. Immediately increase max hit point to 9. Oh, I guess I should already do this. And current hit points by 3. Well, that makes me feel a lot better about maybe letting them counterattack. And then I heal 1 hit point at the end of each wave, which isn't going to matter because we're only playing 1 wave. So that's it for the Disciple of the Body. And wait, I didn't actually talk through the Disciple of the Mind. What was I talking about? So, Ion Cannon Beam. You do medium damage to the first target in any straight line, including diagonals. So just pick a direction and Then they've got the hammer, which does heavy damage. That is 4. You roll a die. On a 1 to 3, you go to the west. On a 4 to 6, you go to the east. That's who you hit. Although you can suffer 1 damage to change the die results to the other one. So there's some mitigation. There's also a reroll token you can get later. And then the ongoing shield. You may spend 1 of any element to have a hero on your tile suffer 1 less damage from a single damage source, or 2 less damage if you spend that specific element to power the effect. On your tiles. Maybe we can be on the same tile? Well, I'm not sure. But anyway, we're far away from each other right now. All right, my thought is it's like a little too pretty. I feel like I should have the Disciple of the Body start out first and have them be up here where they are. And then they'll do a Chain Gauntlet and then spend 2 of their 3 AP to refresh it and Chain Gauntlet again. I mean, they got extra health. And actually, where they are right now, a white roll would get them hit twice. A black roll would get them hit once. It's probably the best they're going to be able to do. Well, actually, I guess if they moved over here, this guy, so on a black roll, they would get hit twice, but that's a 1 in 6 chance. And on a white roll, they only get hit once. So yeah, that's better. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to have them go first. So they can move and attack, or attack and move. I'm going to move here, and I'm going to play my Chain Gauntlet. And where to play it, honestly, I don't care very much because I'm not going to use the power on it, and I'm planning to use 2 AP to refresh it anyway. So we'll do that. We are half killing a lot of people, including the boss. And then let's see how they reply. Okay, regular hit. So this guy's hitting me for 1, but everyone else shoots in their white direction. Nobody's near enough to the other Delver to hurt him. This one didn't attack with the black direction, so we only take 1 damage out of 9. Not too bad. As for the Disciple of the Mind, this is kind of perfect. Like, too perfect. Because look, these guys are both facing me with black, so only a 6 would have me get hurt by their counterattack. And if I use the hammer, yes, I'm kind of overkilling, and I probably should use it on the big boss. But whatever I roll, one of them is going to die. So yeah, I'm going to use a hammer. And this time I might actually want to pay attention to where I put it. This guy's going to get an experience, which could get us a weapon back anyway. This dude's going to get us like the earth and the wind one. Are either of those up here? There's earth and the one that the shield liked. Oh, there's wind and a purple one and then a lot of experience. We're going to level up a ton in a second. So for now, sure, I'll go on the earth space, which could give me +1 movement, but no, I'm just hammering. So first, let's roll for the hammer direction. That guy takes 4 damage, more than enough to kill him. And then let's see if he counterattacks where I don't want him to. Nope. He attacks in all his white directions, not far enough to reach. Actually, he was close, though. 1, 2 in this direction. 1 more would have hit our friend over here. But he is dead, which means we're not going to take 1 damage at the end of the battle. And he drops a minion part. Let me show you how this works. Whenever a minion is defeated, they drop 1 minion part for each of the Delvers. The blue one can only pick up the blue. The orange one can only pick up orange. They just have to move into or through the space to get it. And these are the currency you spend in between quests to get permanent level ups and get permanent upgrades to yourself. So even though you want to be killing things, you also want to be collecting them. You know, it's all a little complicated. Now, just so we get an earth and wind element, and those go to both characters. Again, it does not matter who dealt the killing blow. Everybody benefits. Very friendly system. And let's see, their other weapon is a beam, which can shoot very far. So I'm going to have them move for their move action that I didn't take yet and pick up their first minion part. There is in Quest 2 and beyond, like another little helper thing that can pick up parts for both characters. You can send it around. I think it's instead of taking an attack action, it's one of your options in addition to activating the spot you put the weapon card on. So if you just have like some extra weapons, you can get a bunch of stuff and level up more. But yeah, that was a good turn. All right, now the Disciple of the Body. I think it's just a free action to get a card back with 2 AP. I'm going to assume it is. And then I'm going to... Oh, I guess I should pay attention now. I know I'm about to get... Oh, I'm getting Earth and Wind. See, actually, either of these is fine, so I'll put it there. And hopefully I'm understanding what a chain of enemies means. This seems like a chain. Because if so, a lot of death happening right now. Too much death, if I'm being honest. All right, so the boss just ends up with 2 out of 12. I don't know if we'll be able to kill him. But all the rest of these guys will die. Oh, wait, I should roll for their counterattack. So, a 1, nothing. That's great. I was ready to take my 1 damage and like it, but now I don't have to. All right, so they're all going to leave minion parts, but let's go through one by one. That's 1 XP, 2 XP. There we go. 4 XP. Thanks for being twice as good. That means we're actually going to level up twice in a second, but we'll get to that. And then we're getting Earth, Wind, Purple Magic, and White Healing thing, which means we're both in a pretty fabulous spot to get a lot of weapons back. We're going to kill that boss, definitely. And holy crud, just a lot of minion parts. I still have my move, but first we have to level up. So we spend 1 experience to level up the first time, then we spend 3 experience to level up the second time. Now we have to get to 5 experience to level up the third time. So you're just spending whatever the value is and going back that many. All right, level up number 1 for the Disciple of the Body. I can get a grenade, a battery, or a supercharger. Grenade hits a ton of people for light damage in lots of directions and prevents 2 counterattacks, even though it's a little bit harder to get off than the chain gauntlet. It just, stops people from hurting you more. But 1 damage ain't going to help much against a boss. Let's check the other 2. Okay, the supercharger, when I get it, I immediately roll a die, and I could gain 2 doublers for light damage, 2 doublers for medium damage, or 2 doublers for heavy damage, or gain 1 of each, or get my choice. Woo, that's really good. Because a doubler, if you can imagine, means that for your entire turn, when you spend the right doubler, you double the damage. So my medium sword would do 4 damage instead of 2. Okay, that definitely seems like the winner unless the battery is awesome. Okay, I could gain an AP, which would give me 2 to refresh a weapon again. I get 2 rerolls or my choice. Nah, we're going for the supercharger. Yeah. And we roll. I really want a 4, 5, or 6 to give me... Oh, that's not great. I get 2 heavy damage doublers. Guess what's the only type of damage my weapons can't currently deal? Let's hope that my second level up gets me something that can. Well, let's see. Oh, it doesn't seem good. I can get another supercharger or an OS or boots. Although if I get another supercharger, I get to roll again. Let's check the OS and the boots. Boots let you move 2 every turn, which would let me get so many of those minion parts. And then you can spend 2 movement to move an adjacent enemy as an ability, so I could push the boss around. The OS would immediately gain any 1 element of my choice, and they would both gain 1 element at the end of each wave, which again is not as useful in a single wave. Or supercharger number 2 does the exact same thing again, but, unless I roll a 3 again, it's going to actually be helpful, but the boots are so good. I feel like we have enough ways to get weapons back that we can kill the boss even without the supercharging, so I'm going to get the boots. And hey, now with my 2 movement, let's go ahead and pick up both of these. Take that blue. Who's ahead now? Oh, speaking of blue, I should level them up. Okay, option 1 is grenade for them. Again, meh, not really what I want. Harvester or battery. Ooh, Harvester ain't bad. Does gain 2 free minion parts at the end of the wave. That's more leveling up. And their battery is mostly the same. Like I said, the cards change somewhat, some more than others. So here you would still gain an AP token, or you could gain a prevent a counterattack token, like stop the boss from hitting us. And then their grenade, I think theirs is more orthogonal, whereas the other one was more diagonal. I'm going for the Harvester, long-term leveling. Okay, and level up number 2. Oh, Gauntlet, they don't have yet, but again, that's very weak for just the boss left, or armor, or the OS. Not getting the weapon options I want. Honestly, I'm just going to get the armor so that I don't have to worry about them possibly dying from the boss counterattacks. Even though we've already defeated enough guys that we could survive if we just stopped playing, killing a boss gets you a boss part if you can reach it with your movement, and as you can imagine, those are probably the most useful for longer leveling up. All right, so what do I want to do? I want to get to this side of the boss and then start hammering him multiple times. For 4 damage, I can take damage to change the direction. I'll be in a black counterattack spot, so we won't be able to hit back very well. Now, for 1 AP, you can double your movement this turn, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to bring the hammer back for both of these elements. Doubling my movement gets me over here. I can always beam this guy later. He's not really a problem. Then I'm going to put the hammer on my win spot, right, to be able to bring it right back and hit him again. Because double 4s, that'll give him to 10 out of 12 damage. Then he's not going to be bothering anybody. We can just sword him to death. Oh, never mind. We're perfect. I just noticed that he could also hit the other doubler, but he's in also a black spot. Although, hey, if we roll a 6, that'll be sad. Okay, here we go. I need a 1 to 3 to hit him. Otherwise, I got to take a damage to change the result. I will do so, but with my armor, I have 8 life. Okay, so he takes 2 more damage. And then he's potentially hitting back on a 6. Nope, he attacks in all his white areas, and we are fine. I'm coming around to orange before they move. Let's go and use a saber right here to get it back if needed. We attack for medium damage adjacent, so that's an automatic 2, no roll needed. And once again, we don't want a 6. We're good, no counterattack. And then if I'd killed the target, I could attack again, but here that doesn't do anything. But instead, let's go 1, 2, and get more minion parts. Wait, I did my damage wrong. I only put 2 on for the hammer. I was like, he should be dead when I hammer him in a second. And there we go. All is right in the world. Now, orange is going to get smacked most likely, but so it goes. So before I move, let's go ahead and pull back my hammer with this. And then what? Hammer again, Mike? Oh, I don't have any prospect for getting any of these really, so whatever. It's fine. All right, I need a 1, 2, 3 for the killing below, or I'll take a damage. Okay, so he is defeated, but let's see. He's going to hit one of us unless he rolls a 1. A 6 will hit him. A 2 through 5 will hit them. Okay, so they're down to 6 out of 8 with their armor, no problem. And the bosses are great. Look, they drop a boss part for us to pick up, and we get a level up card automatically, ignoring the XP trap entirely. And the boss parts are leveled, so there's a level 1 boss part. And upgrades will specifically call out for some levels, although you can always use a higher level. Like if you need a level 1 and you have a level 3, you can still spend that. Okay, and leveling up for our orange, we can get a beam, which they don't have yet, or the harvester. I'm going for the harvester. More stuff for orange is great too. Okay, and this one is the same. I was going to say, I don't know how they'd change the effect for the other Delver. Okay, as for blue... they can get a level 2 harvester. What's that do? 4 minion parts instead of 2. Although another weapon would let me actually move more, take more turns. But it's fine. I'll level up the harvester. Yeah, weird that I didn't get any double ups of weapons, but so it goes. And I think I'll double my movement again, maybe? I can't forget that I want to shoot that guy, although this doesn't really matter. He does 2 damage to the nearest Delver. That's not going to defeat me, and his minion part is so far away, I don't think I'll get it anyway. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about him. All right, so I'll clearly go here, and then, I don't know, over here to get both of these fun things. Back to orange, they're out of weapons, but oh wait, no they're not. And I don't need to attack. +1 to movement this turn. That sounds pretty good. Sure, let's do that one. So that gives them 3 movements with their boots. So 1, 2, 3, get the boss part and that. So they've gained everything except that friend down here. Okay, then for blue, so they get +1 to movement this turn. And then this doubles move. Oh, so that would give me 4 movement, wouldn't it? I think that's a right interpretation. 2 movement, double. Oh, double also means the boots would move me 4 instead of 2. So that's better than I thought. But yeah, 4 movement. 1, 2, 3. I think that's the best I can do. And then orange can... Oh, suffer 1 damage and deal medium damage to any enemy. That sounds fun. So I'll hurt myself and still get 2 movement. This guy dies out of range to counterattack anybody. And then I have enough movement. Oh, I can double my movement with the last AP. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Haha. And sadly, blue has no more weapons. Orange has no more weapons. They have no more elements to bring stuff back. But they both got a ton of stuff. And their harvester's going to get him 2 more. Gets him to, what is it? 4, 8, 9. Wow. And blue's getting 9 as well. Wow. Was that a regular battle? I don't know. But all their elements go away because they're going back. All their stuff resets. They lose their items because they might have different pilots next time. That seemed incredibly successful. But again, maybe I cheated with the chain gauntlet. That seemed pretty insane. But let's go back to the story. And now we get to go to the town. We get to talk to people. We can become friends with them, which lets us get these ally cards for more bonuses. And we can spend all this stuff. Let's see what all that looks like. After defeating creatures, you locate the boy. Hanging from ropes dangle many algae-covered Delver tags. You each grab one and give each other a high five. Your quest is complete. Count how many minion parts, tokens each hero has collected and record them on your campaign sheet. Then if heroes have collected any boss part tokens, also record these. Yeah, obviously, got it. Here's the campaign sheet, by the way. It appears to be a 6-chapter campaign, although except for chapter 1, like chapter 2, I think has up to 4 waves, so way longer than chapter 1. And it appears there's also bonus quests. I don't have all of that stuff. They only sent me chapter 1 and 2. And also, if you don't do well in a chapter, you won't get as deep and you won't unlock as much stuff, so I think there should be replay there. But yeah, we got our parts. We got the items we've purchased. We've got donations we've made. Our friendship with each of the characters, or they might not like us. People who have died and their final words. Fun stuff. With bodies aching, you ascend the slopes of Bird's Nest. A well-worn path guides you up through the craggy mountain upon which the town sits. The tide has corroded even the hard stone beneath your feet, making it brittle and precarious to navigate. As you step out of the mist and onto the docks, you see Dr. Ira, a well-known figure among the people of Bird's Nest.
You made it, she smiles. I had no doubts you would. There's something special about this year's batch of graduates, but still you could have returned a little less banged up.
Banged up. We were awesome, Dr. Ira. We are in tip-top shape. She begins at treating your wounds, her hands skillfully working. She's been doing this a long time. You've always admired Dr. Ira from afar. Oh, have we admired Dr. Ira from afar? Some romance? But this is the first time you've ever had the honor to be treated by her. Being a Delver has its perks. After Dr. Ira finishes patching you up, you're summoned to Master Bram's office. As you approach, you notice some of the other graduates. It looks like you aren't the only ones who survived your first mission. Oh, we get some new heroes. Let's look at them. So here we go. So look, she would start with a grenade, a sword, and a supercharger. He would start with a trident, mace, and battery. And later ones might even start with only 2 cards, but one of them will be level 2. So lots of variety in choosing who you want to bring in and the combos you want to build and all that kind of stuff, especially once you have upgrades, which we'll see in a second. Although they can also die. That could be sad. All right, now we're in Bram's office. You knock politely and a tired voice says, "Come in and have a seat." Oh, what was his voice? He smiles and nods toward the Delver tags hanging around your neck.
Congratulations, Delvers. Not everyone survives their first foray. The tide is an unforgiving place at the best of times, but these last few years, the creatures out there have been especially frenzied. If we only knew what's been provoking them, things might not be so dire. You've more than earned this night off. Take a tour around town and try to relax if you can.
Bram gifts both heroes 4 minion parts. Whoa, bro, I'm already rich. You don't have to... It was like, if you sucked. Yeah, they should have been like, if you had fewer than 6 parts, take 4 for being terrible. But yeah, okay, we got 13 each. All right, and then we got one option, the Misty Eagle Pub or the library. We're going to the pub, baby. And we got a fun little map of where they are in the area. As you enter the Misty Eagle, the air is thick with conversation and the clatter of mugs. There's music playing, though the speakers are crackling, distorting the sound. It's a nearly full house, but there are some open seats at the bar. You notice an open space next to a young man with one brown eye and one bright turquoise eye who's sipping milk. He's writing something and there's a restless energy about him. Near the center seat, you spot Vera Brass, an accomplished delver, talking with her elder brother Elias. She notices you and excitedly waves you over. On the right-hand side, a woman with grease-streaked hands is messing with the sound system, beer in hand, while the bartender gives her a concerned look. And we gotta pick who to talk to and possibly befriend. Well, the mechanic lady makes me think of Kaylee from Firefly, always a love of mine. But I think I'll go with Vera Brass and her brother. And it does give you a hint of what it'll be, so all of these could potentially grant you favor with that person to become allies. Vera stands from her stool, arms open wide, and exclaims in a booming voice, "Attention, people of Bird's Nest! I'd like to introduce this year's new batch of Delvers. They passed their final test and made it back from the tide alive. Now let's celebrate! Who's got the first round?" The bar cheers loudly. Next to her, Elias hides his face in embarrassment. "Vera, you're so cringe. Why do you always do this?" She ignores her brother, claps you on the shoulder, and looks you straight in the eyes, saying, "Let's drink!" Next thing you know, you're dancing on the bar, drinking the night away with one of your heroes. Increase Vera's opinion, okay. And we get Vera's ally card. Oh, it's like the least interesting one. The next time when someone's opinion of you would decrease, it doesn't. So if I act like a jerk, I don't lose an ally. That's okay, whatever. That's fine. I feel like there were probably cooler ones I could have gotten. Okay, and then to finish things up, I update my opinion card, so I get the Vera ally. I can add shop products, and buy them. That's what we're going to finish with. And I don't think I'm going to get to Quest 2, sorry, because I still have to give my thoughts on the play so far. And that's going to make this video a little bit too long, especially with my throat feeling a little sicky. But yes, so we've got 7 things unlocked as shop products at first. Of course, more will become available. Each of them has a cost, so in this case, 4 minion parts for those. 12 and a level 1 boss part. I can afford that, baby. I might get that. 5, 6, 6, and 7. And importantly, each of these can only be bought by a single Delver. So if the orange Delver gets this one that we can afford, then that would mean that the blue Delver would be unable to use it. All right, let's talk through our options. This one lets us start each wave with an earth element. This one starts with each wave with a fire element, halfway to being able to get a weapon back. This one, oh my gosh, doubles our light damage. Can you say Chain Gauntlet Destruction? I think Orange is definitely going to buy that. And then it'd be sad if my current pilot who has a Chain Gauntlet died. I wouldn't want that to happen. Okay, then I can start with 2 reroll tokens. I could start the quest with, rank 1 boots or +1 rank if my character already gives me boots. That sounded really good for blue. Start the quest with +1 rank of Supercharger. Oh, it sounded really good too. Or Trident. What's Trident do for blue? Ooh, this is kind of good. May move an adjacent enemy 1 tile, and then I do medium damage 1 space in the upper left and 2 spaces in the upper right. So especially with being able to move an adjacent enemy before I attack, and then do 2 medium damage, medium damage to potentially both of them, that's pretty dang good. So yeah, easy enough. I'm going to spend 12 of my 13 and my level 1 boss part for Orange to permanently upgrade his light attacks to 2, or if I get a light damage doubler to 4, heck yes. And then even though blue could save up, I'm going to spend all 13 minion parts and just keep the boss part for the future to get +1 boots and +1 trident. How much butt can I kick with that? I think it'll be a lot. And then I forgot about my shield. I'm trying to think who I would use. If I have a trident and then a grenade, a sword, that'd be a lot of light and medium. If I had a trident, beam, and hammer, that'd be medium and heavy. Hammer would probably be better with the boots because I can move into positions. Maybe although the supercharger, if I had grenade and sword, if I got lucky and rolled, or if I rolled like a 6 or a 5 where I get to pick, I could get like the doubler of light damage and make, I guess sword and trident. I want to get a doubler of medium damage and just go crazy with that. So yeah, I think that's what I would do. I would get trident, boots, and her. And that would be fun for Quest 2. But let's get some new orders and then we'll call it for today. Your comms device lights up and a message from Father Flores comes through.
Apologies, Delvers, but I need your help. I would have preferred to seek out more experienced Delvers with this critical mission, but Master Abram informed me you're the only ones he has to spare at the moment. Let's rendezvous at the docks at high noon.
Add quest number 2 to your active quest, a surveillance device. Check off that you completed Chapter 1's town visit. And yeah, sorry, y'all, that's all I'm going to have time for, because doing a whole second quest would be crazy because it's multiple waves. But here, I can at least show you some of the special powers of the enemies. So this would be wave 1 in quest 2. And then wave 2 in quest 2, and they each have different powers. Hold on, let me just get the last one. This is, I think, the final wave that they had you able to go against. All right, so these guys, the Goldmonger and the Venena, first of all, they just have higher stats, but also they have the Fatal Flaw trait. That's the order you gotta kill them. It's like the crew. You can damage them as much as you want, but you can't deal a killing blow unless they're the next one to die. So I'd have to kill number 1 before number 2 before the Goldmonger before number 4. Sounds pretty challenging. These guys have the rotate special power, which means every time they counterattack, whether they hit anybody or not, they rotate 90 degrees. So just make it tough for you to like stay in a safe spot. And oh my gosh, they just counterattack a lot. Although they even have like blank spots here, and they hit for 2 or 3 damage, although that would be the second wave, so you'd already be leveled up some. And then finally, these ones are tough to get big attacks off against because they have the primordial trait with different elements. And what that means is if you attack them, you need to put the weapon in the element space that matches one of their 2 weaknesses. Otherwise, they take no damage from the attack. You can't hit them. So not necessarily terrible when you're hitting like one dude, but you can see how challenging that would be when you're trying to do like those big chain hits or grenade hits, hitting lots of people when they can only be hurt by certain things. Also note that, the Spore Cloud, the basic minion has 12 life. That's as much as the boss from last time. The Death Cap has 50 life. But you're not expected to get all the way to the end. This is what I'm saying about like replaying stuff because, here, let me just show you real quick. They have branching fail-forward options based on whether you succeed or fail in each wave, so you'll keep on playing even if you do badly. Oh, wait a second. Is there supposed to be a 4th wave too? Or no, there's like key items and stuff. I didn't even get any key items in the first mission. Interesting. But anyway, what do I think of this one? Well, I'll tell you, this is my catnip. I'm not sure how many of you have tastes that match mine, but I love this kind of thing. Bullet is one of my favorite games of all time, and this has Bullet vibes. And trying to move yourself and line up the enemies for attacks. I mean, it's not quite the same thing, but setting up like tactical patterns. I love that kind of stuff. And especially as you get into the more challenging enemies with special powers and that hit harder and trying to array yourself to hit like multiple people and use your weapons effectively. While also paying attention to which elements you're going to get so you can get your weapons back while also leveling up in the right way, while also getting the right permanent upgrades. That's the kind of stuff I love. That's the sort of strategy that makes me happy. Is everyone going to love that? Heck no. Many people might find it brain-burning, I can imagine, as you get later into the campaign. Also, the fact that it's 1 to 2 players is going to be a limitation for a lot of people. People like to play 3 and 4 player. For me, catnip, exactly what I want. I love playing solo. I love playing with my 13-year-old. He's my most frequent gaming partner, and this game is also going to be up his alley, so works for me. But yes, clearly it's not going to be ideal for everyone. I'm not quite sure how true solo will work, but I think you could see from the play I just did that it's not complicated. I mean, yes, you'll have more weapons and more things going on, so managing both characters will get tougher. And yes, it might slow down play because in multiplayer, I could be planning out my complicated strategy to get the exact right elements and like talking to you about who you're going to kill and who I'm going to kill while you're taking your turn. Whereas in solo, I got to kind of focus on one character at a time. But yes, I think this is going to be great. I think even without a good true solo mode, although I'm sure they'll come up with something, that the game is going to be a lot of fun to play. The variety seems awesome. I'm not sure if they're going to add terrain or anything. I don't even know if they need to, but if they did, that'd be interesting. But even without that, playing the exact same scenario, you're going to get wildly different enemy configurations. The cards will be varied in who comes out and what their rewards are and where they attack. You're going to get different elements. You're going to get different level ups. You're going to get different weapons. Everything will change game to game, I think. So this seems like a campaign that should be incredibly replayable. Especially if in roguelite fashion, I'm thinking of video games like Hades, if they do something where like you can replay the campaign after you've beaten it with like extra add-ons and extra challenge modes, seems like something the game is perfect for. So I would assume they're going to do something like that, but I have not confirmed. I think the leveling up is also really exciting. Will you get too powerful? I don't know. It seems like the enemies get super powerful, so you need a little bit of power. So I like that I'm getting like really cool things that will majorly change my strategy, majorly affect like which characters I want to bring into play, make me sad when some die because they fit my strategy so well. And I'm just somebody that likes the mix of quick superpower leveling within a given play, mixed with long-term leveling. We did that exact thing in our own game design, Flame and Fang. So it's something that appeals to me. Of course, some people are going to be annoyed by it, like, why do you get weaker after you got stronger? I understand those complaints. Thematically, it's always a little bit weird. But mechanically, I think it's so much fun to have huge levels without, like, totally busting the campaign. So having, like, these really cool things as you play, and it's becoming insanely powerful by the end of, like, the fourth wave of a fight, doing crazy damage, that's just good fun for me. As for the story section, it seems fine to me so far. The writing's okay, the characters are kind of interesting, I like the illustrations. And at least so far, it seems to get out of the way quickly, and you're mainly playing the battles, which is what I want. I like story games, but here the draw is that roguelite combat. So if they had me reading like paragraphs and paragraphs of a book, I don't know how well that would go. And also, I think my son will like the game better if we don't have to read forever and ever. What else to talk about? The luck element. As you saw, it's very, very frequent that they're going to attack in their white direction, so you can kind of count on that. I didn't roll a single 6 that entire time. Where are you, 6? Maybe I used a cheating die here. What the heck? Okay, there we go. So yeah, I think the probability is okay there. You saw with the one player item, the hammer that hits to the left or the right, you can try to arrange yourself so that it doesn't matter which one you roll, or you can just spend a single damage to switch it to the other side, and then you can also get reroll tokens later. So it feels like the luck element is going to be pretty minimal. And this is really a pretty strategic and puzzle-like combat system, which is why I like it. So yeah, at least based on this little taste, Gone to Gaia has quickly shot up to one of the games I anticipate the most, for me at least. It matches so many of the boxes I like to tick. I think my son will love to play it with me. It looks like the campaign doesn't take a million hours, so I can play through it multiple times potentially. But if you think it looks cool, go check out the crowdfunding page. I think it's launching today, the same day I'm posting the video, or tomorrow, either one. But yeah, go see what you think and see what else they're offering, because again, I've only been able to see what's in my prototype. I don't know all the stuff that's on the game page and everything. So thanks for watching, everybody, and a special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Steve Wren, Pedro Lucas, Miles, KCW, Andrew R., and Chris C. We'll see you at the next stop.